Oh, hi! Back with another video here. Just want to kind of go over some stuff pretty quickly here. Just the first thing I want to talk about is just a little bit of an update. I got my sister was in London recently, and she brought me back some stuff. So music related, of course. And I also wanted to talk about sort of a musical rediscovery kind of thing that's happening right now. You know, it's like one of those albums that I haven't listened to for a long time. So. Go ahead and talk about it. So again, like I said, my sister was in she was in London. It was about 2 weeks ago or so, I think, and she brought me back this Bob Dylan Greatest Hits. Apparently she said it was at some charity shop that they found there, so pretty cool. I mean, it's a different, of course it's Greatest Hits, and you know, I've had this, you know, the blue version, the US version, but I don't have this particular pressing, so it was cool, and definitely appreciated her picking it up. So if you're watching, thank you. Really cool. I don't really have any import Dylan stuff, if you will. Also picked me up the Sunday Mirror. This is when Amy Winehouse died, so I wanted to I wanted to kind of get a couple. I got also the Daily Mail, which I believe Alan Partridge says is the best newspaper out there. So and I got Little Miss Sunshine, some sweets from Tesco, so this was pretty cool. Definitely excited about that, so thank you, and for picking that up for me. It's great. What I wanted to talk about now was an album that I've been listening to for forever. I mean, I've been listening to this album more than half of my lifetime, let's put it that way, which was kind of laying in bed last night and just kind of thought about a couple of the couplets, the lyrics in the song, and I was like, I'm going to listen to that. So I busted out, and I think I've listened to it probably about 5 times today alone. So, and that album is the Grateful Dead, Terrapin Station. So this album kind of holds a special place in my heart. It was the very, very first Grateful Dead album that I ever had. It's one of the very, very few albums that I had on cassette, had on CD, and also had on vinyl. There's an airplane landing in my backyard. I don't know if you can hear that. So, but it was definitely a pretty cool album. I think it's one of my favorites. It's very strange because this album is often looked at as sort of a not necessarily like a transitional piece, but just kind of a know-nothing record. It was definitely panned by a lot of the Grateful Dead fans. They thought it was really slick and produced. I think it was the second time that they had taken like an outside producer for the album. So it's very, very simplistic sort of styling to it. Of course, Terrapin Station is the huge song off of this one. So it takes up all of side 2. So pretty cool album. This was the first one, and my second one was Go to Heaven. So I kind of got what is usually the bad Grateful Dead ones are usually, that people don't really talk too much about. I got those ones out of my way really quickly. It was really cool because there's a stamp on here for a place that's called Flipside Records in the North Kalamazoo Mall in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So that's pretty cool to find. I think I bought this on eBay. This is like one of the very few records that I bought on eBay, but I kind of got into that. So, but it's a great album. I would definitely suggest, if you've never heard it, to go out and listen to it, give it a chance. If you don't really like Grateful Dead, give it a chance. I guess that's kind of what the main part of this video is all about. But the kind of going back to it being sort of slick and produced. I mean, it has its moments. It is, if you're kind of looking for, the Grateful Dead sort of mind-blowing stuff, you're not really going to find it here. I mean, it's not really that psychedelic at all. Actually, it kind of is borderline disco on kind of a couple of songs. But kind of talk about each song individually here. The first one is Estimated Profit, which features Bob Weir on vocals. Sort of a kind of a funky kind of song, kind of a reggae, kind of the way that he presents it, I guess, as far as with it. It starts off "My Time Coming Any Day," kind of very funky sort of thing. Samson and Delilah, of course, is the kind of based on the biblical story of Samson and Delilah. Of course, cutting off his hair, and it's definitely pretty cool. It's a very, very, very fast number. Most of the songs on here are pretty. Really, the last one, Sunrise, is kind of the only one that's not, like an upbeat tune. The rest are very, very, very upbeat. Passenger, which I believe was written by Phil Lesh. Again, another just a hard rockin', song. Really, the hooks in it are just fantastic. Dancing in the Street, so the take on the cover of the original version, if you will. Pretty cool. I mean, this is a song that's, like I said, very borderline disco. And Sunrise, which is the last one, which basically featured Donna Godchaux on vocals, and it's sort of it's a very meandering, very kind of slow piece. Kind of starts off gazing at the fire, sort of, it's a very, has a tribal nature, and at the very end of the song, sort of has like these tribal drums. Really cool, and I like I said, I actually had this on cassette before I got it, on any other form. I got it at there was kind of like this sort of department store, and if you guys remember, like those spinner racks for the cassettes, that were just there was a lot of. They're referred to as rack jobbers, where these guys basically just went around and filled up these cassettes, and the electronics department was okay. I mean, and if I think about it now, I'm sort of like it seems very foreign to me that as far as with that record store. I mean, it wasn't even a record store; it was just a department. But they had a lot of the CDs were in those long boxes. That basically the reason why we have CDs the way that we do now, or in most of the places that carry CDs, they have the big plastic thing on them. It's just because they just use the same thing for the vinyl, and it was a way to put the CDs up so they're not all the way down in the bin. But the spinner rack, and I just sort of went along, and the way that this is on the cassette tape is just red, and then Grateful Dead is in white. So it was just sort of, this was the first thing I bought, and I was probably, it was when I was about 12 years old, and when I was in elementary school, and there was a couple of guys that started wearing like Grateful Dead T-shirts, and I was like, oh man, Grateful Dead, they're so cool, and that they. The way that they dress. They had Grateful Dead shirts, and I was like, oh yeah, that's so cool, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that. And I remember that summer, I got huge. I went on vacation with my folks, and right before we left, I had this on with my Walkman. I just listened to this cassette over and over, because I only had like one cassette. I might have one, and then like stuff I recorded off the radio, and I just listened to it on repeat over and over and over and over again. And Terrapin Station is it's a huge, meandering, just fantastic, it takes up a whole side, and the song is like 16 minutes long, and it only feels like it's, maybe like a 5-minute song. There's all these different, these different elements to it, and each one sort of, there's a part called like, on the album they only say that as, Terrapin Station is the only way that they say it, but, people that or annotate the Grateful Dead and things like that, they kind of talk about it as there's different parts. So there's different types of songs. There's one song that's called Lady with a Fan, and it's sort of about it's kind of a woman that appears out of a fire, and she throws a fan in a lion's den, and basically tells a soldier and a sailor who's going to go in the lion's den and going to get this fan for me. And it's sort of the thing about it is it's just the story is never finished, and that's just it's kind of crazy because there's no resolution on what exactly happens in the thing, and it just kind of keeps going on and on. It talks about Terrapin Station, brand new different tune, Terrapin Station, but let me close this real quick. A new software update is available from Apple. Okay, so it's just so cool. It's just I fell in love with it when I listened to it first, and like I said, I've been listening to it for more than half my life, which is it's crazy to have an album like that. And I'm just sort of revisiting it and listening to it so many times today. So I'd like to know everybody's thoughts on this. Do you have this album? What do you think about this in Grateful Dead's canon? I think it's a huge album. I think it's one of the last albums for their huge run. You know, that I think this came out in '77. Yeah, it did, '77. I think pretty much. I think the Grateful Dead, as you know, the legacy of the Grateful Dead, I think was was definitely solidified in, you know, from like '72 on. You know, '72 to about '77 or '76. That's when, you know, they were each putting out a solo album like every year. Grateful Dead was putting out an album like every 2 years, and just, I mean, just an amazing period for that band. And I can't say enough about it. I mean, I think, you know, like I said, this is my, you know, I think one of the greatest albums of all time is this one right here. So again, I'd like to know everybody's thoughts. Kind of, what do you think about this? If you've ever listened to it, if, you know, pick it up. If you haven't, it's just, you know, it's just mind blowing. So what I think is really cool is, like, if you look really closely here, there's the Grateful Dead sticker on there. Pretty cool. So, and of course, you know, Stanley Mouse drew the cover of this. So again, just a quick update. Just wanted to say hi to everybody. So take care. Bye now.